Hi there. So are you, is it Muhammad Idris?
The trustee. I'm the trustee. The trustee of the person is here, and all the beneficiaries have been already named.
Okay, so I'm looking for Muhammad Idris. If you're not him, you're free to go. We'll issue a warrant for him.
I am the trustee of the person.
So, okay, I'm not sure what that means. You're going to have to explain that to me. I mean, I know what a trustee is. When you have a trustee over as a person, that's someone who governs their affairs if they're not able to manage their own. Generally, people aren't trustees for themselves, and so that's why, and if you're, I'm not sure exactly, what that means, and you're going to have to explain that to me.
What I mean
Like I
by
say, if you're, I mean, I'm sorry.
what I'm saying is the trustee of the person is here, and all the beneficiaries have already been named. And
Who?
it's on a trust, and that trust is private
Okay, do you have a name?
because you are claiming that you are the trustee, or the prosecutor is claiming to be the trustee, and the investors
No,
are
I'm
claiming to
not.
be the
Okay,
beneficiaries.
so okay, I'm going to stop you there for a second because I'm
And
not
I,
claiming that. No, you can't finish. When you say you are claiming to be something that I'm not doing, no, I'm not going to say that because that's not true. I'm not claiming to be anything other than the judge in Thurston County District Court who's on this calendar. So I'm not the trustee of anybody.
The judge is simply checking who's on the call, but Muhammad Idris twists it, claiming he isn't the defendant at all, just the trustee. It's a classic sovereign citizen tactic, one courts dismiss every time, though Idris refuses to back down.
And here's where you're at right now. All right. And so you've been charged. There's three things at issue here. There's two statutes that are alleged to have been violated: violation of a special fuel trip permit, violation of vehicle operator refusing to comply with an officer. I think simple misdemeanors, which carry with them maximum penalties of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Pleas of not guilty have been entered. And then these cases, they're both criminal cases. And what happens is they either resolve through some sort of plea or some sort of agreement, or they proceed to a jury trial. And now, if you goes to it, since they are criminal cases, it's headed to a jury trial, you're entitled to be represented by an attorney. Look like a previous judge had already ruled that, or found that you were going to, are you going to represent as the person, as the trustee of the person of Muhammad Idris, going to be present to contest the criminal charges against the named Muhammad Idris? Are you going to do that yourself, or do you want to have an attorney appointed to represent? I can screen you for court-appointed counsel.
Judge presses to move the case forward. These are real charges, not small ones. But Idris won't drop his story. He insists the court is targeting his trust and claims he's only there to protect its beneficiaries. In his mind, this isn't about traffic violations at all, it's about defending a financial entity he believes is under attack.
I started talking about, and again, at this time, I don't want to hear anything about the trustee and the named or unnamed beneficiaries. My only question is, do you want to have an attorney appointed to be involved and help you with this case? I mean, that's a yes or no question.
The trustee of the person is here, and the beneficiaries have been already named. And I'm asking for the court to dismiss this case because I put myself in the position of a trustee.
Okay. The request to dismiss the case will be denied. I'm telling you that. And I'm going to ask my question again. Do you want an attorney appointed to represent you, or are you going to go it alone?
How can somebody represent me when I'm the trustee? Okay. And the beneficiaries have already been named. Continue.
Judge's patience is wearing thin. He asks the simplest question: do you want a lawyer? Idris won't answer. Instead, he circles back to his trustee's script, dodging completely. But tactics like that don't push a case forward. They stall it, and they almost always backfire.
Including, the special fuel trip permit, and you refuse to comply with the officers and things of that sort. So they refer that to the prosecutor's office. They're charging a crime. And I've told you what those two crimes are. Now, again, these cases either resolve, and if you've been on the Zoom call, which I think you have for a while, you've seen some of these cases resolve, or they go for a jury trial. And again, you've seen all these other attorneys who represent these folks. I mean, if they could make these cases go away simply by naming someone as a trustee or naming the charged person as a trustee, I mean, shoot, they'd all do it. And then nobody could ever be prosecuted for anything. So that's why I'm wondering why you think that. And now I'm losing my voice, but it'll come back. So if you're going to keep just
go ahead.
I mean, if you're just going to keep repeating that to me, then not much of a choice other than we'll just set this to a jury trial, and then you can repeat that to the jury and see how that turns out.
Judge spells it out clearly. If calling yourself a trustee could erase criminal charges, every defendant would try it. He's cutting through the legal fantasy, pulling Idris back to reality. But Idris doesn't move. He sticks to the script.
You have the right to an attorney, as I said. You also have the right to represent yourself. If you choose to represent yourself, I just want to advise you that you would be at a serious disadvantage. The prosecutor, as I tried to explain earlier, is a trained attorney, been through law school, been practicing law for a while, well-trained, well-versed in the rules of evidence, well-trained, well-versed in the rules of criminal procedure, been through jury trials before. They know how to conduct them. And so if you were to represent yourself, you would be at a huge disadvantage. It would be to your great advantage to have an attorney appointed, or you can hire an attorney to represent you. But as I said before, you do have the right to represent yourself. And normally you go through some sort of conversation with folks. I've been doing this job for a number of years now. I've had several people represent themselves. Normally there's a conversation I've had with people about asking them that they're aware that if they represent themselves, they'd be at a disadvantage. I tried to engage in that discussion with you. You just kind of reverted back to repeating that you're the trustee of the person and the beneficiaries and the name, so forth. But rather than go through the question and answer portion, I'm just going to tell you that's where we're at. So we're going to set this case. We're going to do two things here today. We're going to set the case for trial. You're going to get notice in the mail of that. You're also going to I'm going to set a status hearing or a pretrial hearing in about 3 weeks. And then somebody else, maybe it'll be me, will probably try and go through all this again. But I'm going to tell you some things that, you said you object to this and you object to that, and you're free to object to anything you want. But I have the ability to either overrule the objection, which means, turn down your objection or sustain your objection. And I'm having trouble actually understanding what your objections are. And so, and again, I'm going to lay out some of what's going to happen at trial if it goes that far. In a trial, they have a group of citizens come in, both the attorney and defense attorney or the person represent themselves, and the prosecutor has an opportunity to question them, talk about the issues that might come up in the case. Then they can eliminate who they don't want on the jury. And then 6, you will end up on a jury, and then the state will present their case. You or an attorney, or you on your own behalf, or you as the trustee of the person, can present your case or explain to the jury why you think you should be found not guilty of what you're charged with. And so in the grand scheme of things, frankly, the charges that you're charged with are not far from the most serious that we see around here. They're not. But they are crimes, and they are in their own way serious. And so I don't know whether anything I've said has made any impression on you at all.
Judge walks Idris through how a trial really works, almost warning him outright facing a trained prosecutor without a lawyer is a fight you can't win. But Idris won't hear it. He clings to a theory the law rejects, refusing to face reality.
Okay. And what specifically do you object to? Just so I can create a record, so I'll make a ruling on your objection. What are you objecting to?
I'm objecting to everything you're saying. It's a hearsay. It's a assumption, a presumption. It's a tacit agreement. It has nothing to do with the facts. That's why I'm the trustee. It has it has everything to do with the trust law. The trustee of the person is here, and the beneficiaries have already been named. That's why I have a
All right.
trust, and my trust is private, and I don't see your trust. And in the trust that you have, the trust that the prosecutor has named you as the trustee. That's why you keep asking the prosecutor what they want to do, because they named you the trustee. And you guys brought me into court to to give out gifts. And I'm not here to give out any gifts.
Right.
I'm here to object to giving out any gifts that's supposed to reduce the public debt.
May be the most revealing of the entire hearing. Idris claims he's there to stop the court from taking gifts from his trust to pay public debt. To him, the case isn't about traffic at all. It's about defending a financial idea that doesn't exist in law. The judge doesn't soften his response. Yes, you are wrong. It's one of the few human exchanges in the hearing. The judge admits it's unfortunate he can't reach Idris. His frustration is clear, not just with the pseudo-legal script, but with watching a man throw away his chance to mount a real defense.
I'm sorry?
What's your evidence that I'm wrong?
Well, I mean, you know, other than me just telling you that I'm not a trustee, I can't prove something doesn't exist. I mean, there is no trust. There's nothing else. And I have no documents that saying there's not one, and I don't have any document. There is no document saying that there is one. And so again, that's on that single issue. That's.
So you're not coming after my personal trust?
No.
So personal
And again,
trust
I'm not
doesn't
sure.
exist?
Well, let me rephrase. I'm not sure what that means. Again, you're charged with a crime. That crime needs to be resolved, or either through trial or resolution of some kind. And so in terms of coming after your personal trust, and by the way, you know, I'm not the one who filed the charges. That was done by the prosecutor and all of that. And so what they're trying to do, I think, and I don't know this for sure, and I'm just trying to do this by way of explanation, not because I'm on anyone's side. You know, it's their responsibility. They're bringing the charge. It's their responsibility to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. It's your or the defense attorney's role to explain why the charge should never have been brought, or that there reasonable doubt exists as the charge was ever committed. That's what this is about. This whole trust thing, I think you're just going down a way that's really doesn't have any relevance to what's happening here. And I've tried to explain that to you, and I'm more than willing to continue to. We can't go at it all afternoon, but I'm trying to make this as clear as I can to you. But again, it's unfortunate. It's a failing on my part.
The prosecutor even suggests Idris might not be competent to stand trial, that he doesn't fully understand what's happening. The judge leaves that issue aside for now, but it's a major red flag, especially after what we've seen. And with that, the hearing closes. A trial date is set, and Idris walks out free for now. But unless something changes, he's likely to give the same trustee speech again, this time in front of a jury.